Hello and welcome to the Pink Table Talk. How are you doing today? My name is Laria Reed. I'm your host. I'm here with Deidre Stafford and our guest that I'll introduce in a moment. But we are so excited that you tuned in for our issues. This is for women, especially for our ladies, something so that we can have our own thing for women 18 plus. And we are excited that you are with us to talk about women issues. So today we've got another topic that I am so excited about. We are talking about queens raising kings. So moms who have boy moms, those of you who are doing such an excellent job raising your sons. I don't know how you do it in this climate, but you are doing it. But before we get into that, we want to send a special shout out to Hope TV. If you have not clicked and subscribed to us, please do that. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all of your social media platforms. You can also follow us on the House of Hope Atlanta. Our pastor, Dr. E. Dewey Smith, he has shows. We have shows for children, cooking shows. We've got every kind of show you can ever think of right here on Hope TV. So make sure that you tune in each week to find out what we've got going on. All right, so I'm gonna allow Deidre to introduce our guest today and get started with this great interview that I can't wait to hear about.
Okay, well again, thank you guys for joining us today. We are so appreciative to be in your space for this 30 minutes for the show. But today, like Laria said, we're going to be talking about women raising boys, men, queens raising kings. So our guest today is Winona Maloud. She is a single parent, and I will let you tell her let her tell you her story of how she becomes single parent and what her life is like raising a king, because he is truly a king. I know them personally, and she has done a great job raising him. So tell us your story and how you're getting it done.
So I will say, as it relates to my son, his father passed actually in his arms.
Oh.
And in that, I probably was a little strict because I did not want the passing in that trauma to be something that my son would fall back on and make excuses about. Because I've been a mentor, I've taught, and the whole thing of having a boy was different from having girls. And I saw that once I started seeing teenage boys and how they move, and this how they have to move and touch and do things, whereas we are laid back. We get our job done, and that's it. We don't do a whole lot of needing direction once you get a certain age. About 12, 13, girls are on it. Right. As it relates to a boy and becoming a man, you have to stay on them. And I tell people all the time about not being your children's friend. You become friends with your children when they become adults. But when they're children, and they still need your guidance. And my approach has been, I mean, we'll get into that, but my approach is probably a little more stern than most people. But I mean, my son says all the time, I'm overprotective. And I probably am. But I am very stern when it comes to what I expect and what I'm going to allow.
Oh, gotcha. Understandable. And the first question that I had for you was, I don't have any children, but looking in the news and seeing all these shootings and killings, and it's a lot of black men, black boys, and it's getting younger and younger. So how do you see the reality of what's happening and raise your children? And I just heard you say you're strict. So I'm sure that kind of plays a part in it, but how does that affect how you raise your son, what you see in society?
So what I've done is, it's very disheartening. And I'm not gonna say, and I know as Christians, a lot of people will say, well, I don't have fear, I don't worry. That's not true. It will creep in. But me and God's relationship is probably different than some other people, because I talk to him the way I talk to y'all. Like I say, what is going on? Why is this happening? So it's just like when Sean started driving on his own. When his grandparents got him a car and he was driving on his own, I was worried. And then God was like, Winona, stop. You've given him to me. You've prayed over him. You've prayed over the car. You've got to believe it. So even when it tries to creep in, I'll say, no, God, I've given him to you. And if I truly trust you and I truly have faith, he's going to be okay. So I would say for sure, I've always kept angels encamped around my children. And whoever encompassed in their lives, I make sure that I pray over them. And I have to believe that once I pray over him and that he's gone, that he's going to be okay. And we had an incident just maybe like over a couple of months ago where he was stopped by the police, and we're out in Gwinnett County, and he was stopped in Snellville.
Okay.
Okay. So I didn't know that it was 2 officers that stopped him. So he knew enough to know you can't talk aggressive, because my son he talks like me. We talk with our hands, we talk aggressive. You know, you can't talk aggressive. I need you to keep your hands on the steering wheel. I need you to be very, very respectful, because my son is over 6'5".
Oh, wow.
He has an afro, or he has
Yeah.
braids in his hair.
Yeah.
He has 2 earrings. He wears hoodies when it's 100 degrees outside. He
all do.
Yeah.
He has tattoos.
Yeah.
So even though it's wrong that that's a stereotype,
Yeah.
but if you did not have all those things that he has, because that's what's in right now. It's like when we got second holes in our ears,
Yeah.
because that's what's in right now. He doesn't have to be clean cut with no earrings or no anything, but they're going to target you
That's right.
because you have all of these things on. So I need for you to stay calm in every situation.
Yeah.
And he did, and I made him pay for the ticket himself just to give us some
Okay.
responsibilities. But I'm not gonna say that when I see stuff that I'm not nervous about it.
Yeah.
But when I get nervous, I calm myself by praying and saying, God, I trust you
Yeah.
to keep angels encamped around him and to keep him
Wow.
safe. And whoever he's around, they're going to be safe. So that's
Wow.
really what I have to do.
Yeah, that sounds like trusting
Wow.
God for real.
Yeah, I have to.
You do.
Wow. So going back, good. I'm glad you just said that. So going back to where you talked about his appearance, So when he come home and he like, Mom, I want to wear my hair like this. Mom, I want a tattoo. Mom, I want an earring. So how do you prepare him for what may come? Because that is a stereotype, you know.
And it is. So the tattoo situation was a bet.
Okay.
He was in middle school. My older daughters have tattoos. And with my children, I always look at things as it being in time. So at this age, you can do this. And I don't care what everybody else is doing. At this age, you could do this. And I'll take you to do it. Like we can do this. And I bet him if he made all A's in high school, but if you haven't done it in middle school, you're not gonna do it but God, okay? If you make all A's, and it might be a B in one of the hard classes, I'll start you a sleeve. He said, okay. And he made all A's. So I kept my word, and I started him the sleeve.
Okay.
Now, I would have never let him do that. I would have made him wait until his first year of college. But he actually was able to get tattoos in high school.
Okay.
But you shouldn't judge people, because I know when people, because even when I saw somebody with tattoos in high school, I'm like, what that little baby doing with tattoos?
Right.
But I did it because I had to keep my word.
Okay.
Because I'm really, really big on, unless something is going on and I cannot move, keeping my word on what I say, even if it's to you or to whomever it is.
Yeah.
I'm really big on keeping my
You are.
word, so I had to keep my word. I didn't think he was going to do it, but he did it.
Yeah.
Even with the earrings, like he wants to get dreads right now. Of course, I don't want him to get dreads because I don't think he's going to be able to take me. In Alabama, in like a rural little
Okay.
county where there's a few of us, so it's just preparing him. And I just told him, Sean, you know, when you have earrings and tattoos and plaits in your hair, people are going to look at you different and they're going to judge you different. And that's just the truth. It's just like when we wear braids in our hair, we wear dreads in our hair. I've had people that are very close to me to say that me having braids or dreads are not professional in corporate America. And that's crazy to me.
Right.
My hair shouldn't have to be straight.
Right. Right.
I mean, it doesn't. So that's how I really prepare him. I just tell him, like, I'm very, very transparent and very, very open.
Okay.
So I just told him, well, if you get this, because at first I wouldn't let him get 2 earrings, so I made him take one out. And then he's like, Mom, it was, I'm not going to say, I was like, when you have 2 holes in your ears, you know, it's making you such, and he's like, no, that was back in the day. So I Googled, what is it called? Ethnic slang or something. And I was like, okay, well, you can put the other one back in. So we had to pay to get another one, but yeah.
It sounds like y'all got a good balance of like making sure that he's grounded, he understands where he is, the communication is open. And I think that sounds like the biggest thing. So do you believe that keeping him focused, like how do you keep him focused enough to listen to you? You know, even though you tell him all these things, it sounds like he is responding to what you're telling him, even though, you know, he's got the earrings, he's got the dress, he's got the different things going on, but it sounds like he's aware. And I think that's the most important thing. So how do you?
I didn't know he was listening to me. People were telling me, people were telling me when Sean's not with you.
Wow.
So like my daughter called one day and she was like, Mommy, Sean listens to you. He's doing it. And I have always been a component of everything. I knew that my son was going to be great in my womb. So I've been speaking greatness over him. I knew that he was going to be a leader. So as he was growing up, I would say, you're a leader, you need to walk into it.
Wow.
And to see him mature into his role as being a leader, it has been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. I'm not even going to cry because he's about to leave, but it's been a pleasure to raise him because and nobody's perfect because he's been fussed at, screamed at.
Of course.
But it's for little things because I really believe the word when it says small foxes spoil the vine, it's the cleaning up. It's the being organized. It's doing what I say do. And that's my thing. Just do what I tell you to do and don't talk to me no more. So now he is starting getting to the point now at 18 that when I am fussing about something, to just say, okay, mommy.
Because he understands that
Yeah,
you...
like, it's no point in me going back and forth with you, because at first he would go back and forth with me. It's just, okay, mommy. And then to have teachers. So when you know that you've given birth to a leader, it comes with a certain responsibility.
That's so true.
And as a responsibility for me as being a single mom, because I never let statistics and stereotypes guide me. I had my first child as a teenager. I had my second child in college. We planned, me and his husband before, my husband before he passed, and then I had my third child, like my fourth child in my 40s. If you go by what statistics say, all of my children should have been pregnant in high school. All of my children should have been in jail selling drugs, strung out, or dead. And especially my son. So I've never listened to what the outside is saying because, and I never let people judge me because you don't know my story. And if I don't tell you what's going on, you would know. And how I keep him grounded and keep them grounded is that though my children can't have everything that everybody else has, I always make them see the blessing in what we do have. And to be grateful for community, to be grateful for the fact that when I don't have food, somebody will bring some food over here. You understand what I'm saying? So it's, people like to hide from their children what's really going on. And, oh, they shouldn't have to worry about the fact that you know. They need to know so that they can appreciate me. And I'm always making them appreciate me.
Most definitely.
Like, don't treat, if you treat me crazy, I'm gonna treat you crazy. And mine is gonna be different. If you got a little funk on you related to me, I'm gonna stop speaking to you.
That is so true.
I'm gonna treat you the way, because you have to understand that nobody is going to love you the way your mom loves you. Nobody's gonna put up with the foolishness. So if you wanna be nasty to me, I'm gonna be nasty to you. I'm gonna make you cry when it's all over with.
You gonna remember this.
Yes, that's exactly how I kind of gauge things.
I get it. I get it. But but whatever you've done is worked.
And that's what I tell
thing.
people, that even though people say you're really too hard on him or you're really, no, I produce results.
That's right.
And I'm not perfect. He was not perfect. None of my children are perfect. But beyond all the accolades and the awards the money that he will get, if I produced a human being who cares about you and who will protect you, I've done my job.
That's right.
Everything else is just extra. When you have children who care about what's going on in the world and they care about someone being hurt, and they can't just walk past a woman being assaulted or a child being assaulted and say, that's not my problem. I don't raise children like that. I raise the children that God is going to protect me if I step into this situation and I protect.
That's right.
I've been teaching him that since before he could really talk.
Wow.
It is your job to protect every Black woman you come in contact with.
That's right.
And if you do that, my job is done.
That's right. That's good.
And holding him accountable for the things that he does.
I like that.
Our audience is primarily over the age of 50. What are the best ways for this age group to nourish their skin?
I'm always about taking it back to the basics. Simplicity. I celebrate simplicity. I think sometimes we make things a little bit too complicated. You can really feed your skin fruits and vegetables.
Today, we face an unprecedented crisis. Tens of millions have been forced from their homes. But you can make a difference. Turn disruption and despair to hope and opportunity. Even small amounts make a big difference. Provide shelter, support, or jobs in your community. The more we understand, the greater sense of belonging we create. Act now. Visit supportcrisisrelief.org.
We are Four Friends in a Book. The book for this month, When No One Is Watching, by Alyssa Cole.
It was actually 3 different things what I enjoyed with gentrification and finding out. It kind of sparked things in my mind like, is this really happening?
If a Whole Foods pops up in one of these neighborhoods, I'm like, okay, y'all have been gentrified. So that's the first thing I always think about.
So what advice would you give a mother that may be watching, with trying to raise a king?
Yeah.
I would say because I was a single mother, I think it's very, very, very important. And like you guys were talking about, when nobody up here was being a single mom, dating. But I've had children young and old.
Okay.
Older. My children don't see anybody, ever. I think that your children should see you a certain way.
That's right.
You can go and do whatever it is that you want to do. But your children should never see you dating 5 men, because every time there's a separation or there's a divorce or that person's not coming around your children anymore, that is a death for that child. And that's trauma for that child.
That is true.
And when you decide that you're gonna date and bring that person around your children, you're messing with their mental.
Yeah.
And a certain way.
That's right.
And regardless if that's how you are,
Right.
he needs to see you a certain way. He needs to respect you so that the woman that he brings home at least has the same qualities as your mother.
Yes.
And even if your qualities are garbage, at least you're showing, because
That's right.
That's a lot of what's going on.
That's right.
It's that people aren't, and I'm very, very transparent with him. I'm transparent I say stuff that's really crazy all the
She
time.
does.
And there's some stuff that he still will hide from me, and that he'll lie. And
But that's what he's supposed to, he's trying to be respectful
Yeah,
of you.
but once, when you know your children, like, I'm not that far removed from you sticking somebody in the window. So you gotta tell me the truth, and if you tell me the truth, then I can respect you.
Right.
So I tell my children all the time, if I respect you, we're good.
Right.
When I stop respecting you and believing you, and I don't trust you anymore, then our relationship changes.
Yeah.
And you want your relationship with me to always be on the up and up.
That's right.
You want me to always be
In your
your
corner.
biggest fan and in your corner.
That's right.
But it truly, as far as mom raising boys, is to not back down and don't become their friends while they're still teenagers. Like, you could be cool with them, but you're never gonna be that cool to curse in front of me right now.
Oh, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You're never
Completely
gonna be
understand.
to discipline you.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And that's what I see with people that I know. It was that they didn't get disciplined. And discipline is not always hitting, because Sean
That's
got to a
right.
point to where I couldn't hit him.
Right.
He was taller than me, like in middle school, and then also having a good support system.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough that when his father passed, that I was dating somebody, even though we didn't work, that has been consistent in my son's life.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow.
but that also goes back to a woman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if I
Yeah.
was messy and, you're not gonna see him anymore, you're not his dad, that goes back to being mature
Right.
and being a woman of some kind of character.
That's
Not
right.
that I'm perfect, but I'm not gonna stop what you have with him just because of what's going on with
Right.
us.
That's right.
And
right.
that's a lot of problem, because there are some good men who will see about your children, who will make sure your children are okay, but women are so confused and you want to control everything,
Yeah.
that you'll stop that and you won't allow it when that's what God sent you.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and it's truly praying and believing God that He's gonna take care of my children, and He has. I told my friend the other night, if people can't look at me and not know that there's a God, something is really wrong with you. If you can't look at me, like literally, and not know that there's a God that she served, something is wrong with you.
That's right. That's
and,
right.
and that's just really period, because He has kept me. I'm telling you,
Yes, Lord, He
and my
has.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, we never disappoint with our guests and our content on Theology in 30.
I am excited for our conversation.
We live in a different time. And so I want to ask you, what does Howard, preachers of today, who really have roughly 10 to 15 minutes to get their point across.
Something that he offers is a sensitivity to the Spirit, right? So don't go into the worship service so tied to your manuscript that you don't allow freedom for the Spirit to move in ways that you could not expect.
Part-time job, full-time hustle, all-time Shiro to all of us. You nurture, we listen. You teach, we thrive. You lift our spirits, but we've got to lay down the truth. It's time for you, our Shiro, to stretch for the stars. A free online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Start saving more for retirement so you can feel prepared and live your life to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Guys, today we have a bone-in pork shoulder. And look, we're gonna be cooking that in our Instapot. So you guys got your Instapots ready? Let's cook.
She's been on one of our shows before with your health, talking about health and how God has just healed you over and over and over again. And even with that, I had one more question I wanted to ask because I just feel like it would be really good. So I know in Proverbs 31, the lady is giving instructions to her son about what kind of woman he should be with.
Girl.
So my question to you is, what kind of instructions do you give your king, your prince, or on what kind of women he should be? You know, do you just, what do you say?
Do you want me to be politically correct?
I want you to give it
this
to
is going to be another one on
Okay, so we've had this conversation. We had it young. Okay. And so we had it young, and we just had this conversation again.
Okay.
Because I have told him, I want you to marry a black woman.
Okay.
And I want her to first love God, because then she would have gotten some instructions on how to treat you.
Okay.
Because I am the mother who will kick somebody's door in about my children. I mean, I
know that's right.
So my thing has always been to protect.
Okay.
And I want you to treat women the way you want somebody to treat your sister.
That's
and
true.
I had to make him like cry. I want you to see that this is your sister.
That's
This
right.
is somebody's daughter. This is somebody's, granddaughter. So I really have this is like conversation we have all the time.
That's right.
About who he's gonna bring home. He won't let me meet friends. Like he'll tell people, if I'm not kicking it with you like that, I'm not letting you meet my mom. So he respects that, which I don't mind meeting them.
Yeah.
But he's just like, it's no point. I'm not serious about them, so it's no point in me introducing them.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So as long as she,
she's like you.
Yeah, but she has to be just like, because you know what? I don't know if I want somebody that's so overbearing and strong. She has to be a soft.
But she can have your characteristics.
And if she could look like me, it would be good. And then I'll be really, really happy. But I think that I've raised him enough to know what he's going to expect, because I do respect the fact that when people give him drama, that he'll leave it alone.
Okay.
And I told him something that nobody told me and Deidre this, that when you have a healing spirit, you're going to attract broken people.
Right.
Okay? And when you attract broken people, because you have such a good heart, you try to stick it in with them to get them to where you know that they can be, to what you see in them. And I said, Sean, there's nothing you can do. You don't have to cut people off. You can pray for them. You can even talk to them every now and then. But there's nothing you can do to fix that person, to make them love themselves. Nobody ever told me that. Had they told me that, it would have saved me from a plethora of heartbreak. Because if I see you down and out, I'm not going to step over you. I'm going to bring you with me.
Yeah.
But everybody can't come with me.
That's true.
And it tears at you when you're trying to get somebody. And when you, like I said, when you're a healer, you're going to attract what you, but you got to let God guide you.
That's right.
Lead you on what it is that you're supposed to be doing for this person, and not become a hindrance for the person.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Now you just spit a whole bunch of wisdom. Look, I need to come in and let you talk to me. I just feel like I would get so much. Okay. Well, Winona, thank you so much for being on today.
So much
my
for having
goodness.
me. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, and if you've got friends who have sons, please let them hear your Winona's take on this, because this was so good.
Yeah.
Queens raising kings, and that's the whole point. You know, I know sometimes we often talk about the men raising boys, but there also has to have that softer side to things, with that woman being there, being able to kind of help lead and direct today. And Deidre Stafford, of course, being back with us. So please make sure that you tune into all of our shows. They're always going to be great right here. Pink Table Talk. I'm your host, Loria Reed, and we'll see you the next time.